Well, it is a cheating scandal among the rich and famous, unlike anything that's been seen before. Just this week, the FBI announced that at least 50 people from 6 states were being charged for their alleged involvement in what's being called the largest college admissions scam ever prosecuted by the Department of Justice. Of the 50 charged, 33 are parents, including actresses Felicity Huffman and Lori Loughlin, along with Miami investor Robert Zangrillo. All are accused of paying hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions of dollars to help their child into an elite university by facilitating cheating on standardized tests or actually faking their child's credentials as a strong athlete to make sports teams at schools such as Yale, Stanford, and USC. Others charged in the probe include 2 SAT, ACT administrators, an exam proctor, a college administrator, and 9 university coaches. The investigation isn't over, and the FBI says even more people could be charged. So far, no universities have been found to have played a role in the deception. So what does this say about the current college admissions system? Here to help break down the latest on the still developing story is Colleen Wright, education reporter for the Miami Herald, and Dave Hyde, sports reporter for the Sun Sentinel. Thank you both so much for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
All right, Colleen, let's start with you. What was your reaction when this news first broke? You're an education reporter. What was going through your mind when you heard about this widespread deception that was going on?
Sure. Well, college admissions are so competitive, and there's so much that goes into them, from your GPA to SAT and ACT scores, all that preparation, and as well as extracurriculars. Kids go above and beyond to really have a stellar resume. When you hear that some of these parents have been accused of kind of making a backdoor entrance for their students. And a lot of the kids, in some cases, the kids were in on it and did know what was going on. But in most of the cases, the students did not know. They thought that they were going to get in on their own merits.
Yeah, it's kind of remarkable. Dave, what was your reaction when you heard about your sports reporter, and this has that sports element? I mean, photoshopping kids' faces on real athletes is just incredulous, isn't it?
These poor kids wake up, they're not only dumber than they thought they were, but they're not as good looking, right?
Yeah.
So no, my reaction was, look, in the sports world, we're used to it being the other way. If there's a scandal, it's poor kids receiving cars or meals or some type of inducement to go to a school. And this was rich kids bribing their way in with millions of dollars. It's the ultimate 1% scandal in college sports.
Yeah, really. I mean, you would think these kids, their parent, they come from these wealthy families. They had it made in the shade, if you will, to begin with. So it just seems so over the top. Don't you think that they went to these lengths, Colleen?
Sure. The state attorney from Massachusetts, when they announced the scandal, earlier this week, he even said, some parents will donate millions to a school to have their name on a building.
Right, and we've seen that before.
Sure.
You see it at the University of Miami. Things are named after people who've donated money, and everybody seems that's okay because it's allegedly going towards education into the school, right?
Right,
yeah.
Right. But this is totally, from the get-go, sometimes these kids, their test scores would be corrected with a proctor who knew kind of what was going on. Again, the kids sometimes were not in on it.
Right.
Sometimes he would just take the test for them. They fabricated profiles, and they also made their kids take it just kind of like a baseline test first. So the kids really thought that they actually had growth on their exams, but some of these jumps are 400 points, or 10, 11, 12 points on the ACT, which is only at a scale of 36. Right. So really deceiving.
And there was a young woman here in South Florida that had a situation like that, where and talk about that because you covered that story, that her SAT score went up several points. I mean, and so tell us a little bit more about that was sort of a red flag for the College Board, wasn't it?
Yes. So in January, there was a student named Camila Campbell, and she's from Miami Gardens. She got a 900 on the SAT, not so great. So she says that, her mom bought her an SAT book, the size of a phone book, and she crammed, but her scores were flagged. When she realized she didn't get them on time, something was wrong. When she called, they told her she got a 330-point increase to 1230, which is pretty good. Mm-hmm. Nowhere near perfect, but still quite an improvement.
But an unusual leap, right?
Yes. Well, it's large, but it's not unprecedented. Okay. But it is large. But the College Board maintained that her patterns on her answers were similar to those of another student. We don't know if that student was in the same room or not, but she's tried protesting College Board, and eventually she just said she gave up and is now going to take the test again.
So, Dave, let's go ahead and talk about the whole sports aspect of this. I mean, I as a parent, and we've all seen parents do things for their kids. I mean, you and I were talking about how when kids were little, sometimes we knew parents that would actually do the science fair project for them. So for a parent to pay for an ACT, SAT, it sounds horrific, but we can kind of understand parents that would do that. But again, going back to the faking that your child is an athlete to get on a team just seems so over the top. And so what is the NCAA now going to do about this?
Well, I'm sure the NCAA right now is monitoring the situation because they're not an investigative arm. They'll let the legal process play out, and then we'll come down to some type of decision on what they're going to do. But already you're seeing executives and the officials in the like USC athletic department being fired, coaches, administrators, people involved with that. So there's going to be big repercussions in athletics throughout the country, it looks like. The question is what the NCAA will do after that.
Walk us a little bit through that process, though. For example, if you have the tennis coach at Georgetown has these slots, how much power does a coach have? If they have an athlete who they would like to have on their team, isn't there some sort of vetting too by administration to make sure that student is a qualified student?
Well, it depends from school to school, but
Sure.
yeah, there is some vetting. There's obviously not very much, though, at some of these schools. For instance, I know at the, I believe it was Georgetown, one of the coaches got called up and said, hey, why isn't this recruit that you wanted into the school on your team?
Yeah.
And the coach said, well, he got hurt and da-da-da. Of course, he wasn't an athlete to begin with.
Sure.
So, yeah, you know, especially in these smaller programs, like the sailing program and water polo and programs that aren't, you know, on TV, aren't making millions of
Sure.
dollars that we all know about. I'm sure that the the vetting isn't nearly as much.
There probably will be more oversight
Yes, I
now.
think it might change.
Don't you think? Colleen, talk about a tweet you were saying that came out this morning already from Donna Shalala, the former president of the University of Miami. What was she saying?
Yes, so our newly elected congresswoman here
Yes.
in Miami, Donna Shalala, the former, she's been a president of other colleges too, chancellor as well,
Sure.
but probably none as prominent as UM. Her team put out a statement yesterday kind of calling for a probe in the Congressional Committee over Higher Education, looking into, you know, these backdoor ways into the university that are fraudulent, either through cheating on an exam or through a fake, you know, athletic profile. And that's pretty interesting because the University of Miami actually received $100,000 from the nonprofit, quote unquote,
Foundation
right,
of
the Key
William
Worldwide.
Singer, right, Key Worldwide.
Yes, in 2016, between 2016 and 2015. That was, of course, after Shalala stepped down in 2015. But it is interesting, and there are about 750 families involved. These allegations go back to 2011, so it's very
Right.
possible we might be seeing, you know, some families
More.
from the University of Miami implicated in this.
A lot of these graduates, aren't they, if you graduated from there, aren't you calling your parents and saying, wait a second, am I really as smart as I thought I was?
Oh, imagine the talk around the dinner table at some of these homes or the calls some of these parents are getting from these students. Thank you so much. Really appreciate your insight on all of this. And the investigation continues, so we'll see what happens. So what is your take on this college admission scandal? We'd like to hear from you. You can reach us on Facebook or on Twitter at YourSouthFL. And while you are there, you can catch up on previous segments and stay up to date on the latest news and community events happening in South Florida.